Right, so what I thought I'd just show you in this video was how I did my door linings. This is one which I've already put in. See what there, look. So I just thought I'd show you how I make the door casing and how I put it in. There is other ways you can do it. My way won't be for everybody, because there'll be people who say, oh, too much buggering about and you can do this, you can do that. Yeah, there is other ways of doing them, but I like doing it my way because I enjoy doing it and I get good results. So this is a casing I've already made. I'll just show you how I put this together. So these are the legs, and before I put it together I had a look to see which was the best side, this or the other. And the other side was the best side, so I'm having that as the side what I see. So they generally come in a kit. You get your two legs and your head. So these are suitable for a 2'6" or 2'9" door. So this is 2'6", so it's in that side. I glued that rebate in there, put some glue in. Then I knocked that onto there, but before I screwed it I like to square it up, because I always think if it's on the piss you screw it in, then you're forcing it back against the screws what you've put in to square it up. So I just get me square, difficult with a one-handed. Get me square, I just hold it in there like that, line it up, and then I screw it. So that gets it something like. I'm a believer that you don't need to get this absolutely spot on at this stage, even though you've got your braces on, because you'll get it spot on when you're putting it in the opening. To me, these braces are to get it something really near enough and, well, as good as you can get it, and to enable you to be able to carry it and install it where you want it without it being all floppy and swinging around. So then I come to this side, I glue that rebate, I put my square in, square it up, this leg, and then I stick my screws in. So then I know that that top is pretty good. It's something like. So then I get my other square, which is there. So I put my square on the head, and then I pull this leg to where it wants to be square with here. See, like that. I then go to the other side and I do the same to that leg over there. So once I've positioned them two, I get this measurement here from that edge to that edge, and I just come down to the bottom and I double check it's the same, and then I stick a brace on just to hold it apart at the right measurement. I then get my square again and I square it off both legs, just double check to make sure they're square, and then I put another brace on going from the head to a leg, just to stop it all twisting. So once I've done that, I'm pretty confident that that casing is as square as I can get it sat on there. When you do all your gluing as well, you just want to have a damp cloth with you just so you can wipe any excess glue which comes out in the corners. So then we're going to cut off these on both sides flush with this. The easiest way to do it is just to hold your saw against that face there. You're not holding it tight, you're just pressing it against it, and then saw down. That just keeps it nice and flush with no digging in. And there you see it, like all nice and flush. Then what we need is some wedges. So these wedges are cut at 2.5 degrees. And 2.5 degrees, it gives me a nice profile to be getting in behind the casing and the stud work. If it's any more, it's too stubby, and I find that this goes the full width of the door casing. So then when I put my other wedge on, it just gives me a nice flat area behind the casing, and I find it's solid. So for cutting me wedges, I made myself a little jig for my table saw. So that side's 2.5 degrees. That's 2.5 degrees. That side's a little bit more if I want a thicker wedge. You can see how I made this. I just knocked it up out of a couple of bits of wood. So how I've done these door casings, I've got 22 wedges to a casing. Because there's 2 there, 2, 2, 2. Same at the other side. And 2 in the middle. So I normally come 100 or 150 mil up from the bottom, 100 or 150 mil from the top. Then from the bottom I come up 500 mil, a metre and 1500 mil. And where your clap lats go, you can set these screws so that they're behind your clap lats. But because I'm having this as a sliding door, I'm not having any on, so I've just put these in. So you can use any bits of wood you've got left for your wedges, but I don't like using pieces of wood too small because your fingers start ended up getting near your saw blade. Never get your glasses. Also, why it pays to put a lid on here is when your timber's in there, you have a lot less risk of it hitting your saw blade and shooting back on you, or flicking up, you know, towards your face, your eyes, because when you get wood catching on these and shooting back, it can be like little arrows. I don't like reaching over a spinning saw blade, so I always turn it on and off. I now want to drill and countersink the door. So I'm coming up 100 mil from the bottom and putting a mark, then 100 mil down from the top, putting a mark, and then I'm coming up 500 mil, a metre, and 1500. I'm going to do the same on the other leg. So where all my marks are now, I'm going to put a square on, level with the line, put a pencil mark on. I'm going to do that on all the marks. So there's a mark. So subject to the thickness of your door, if you was using, say, a 40 mil door, would be 40 mil, just say your lat would be, your clap lat would be there, so you'd have a screw there, and it just saves you some filling. You know, if you was in a nice door casing, you could drill it out, so that'd go behind the clap lat. And if you was in a nice door casing and you had pellets in, or pellets following the grain, you'd have half as much making up to do, making good. Me, for these, they're just getting painted, so I'm just going to put the screws wherever I want to put them. And I'm going to come in that far from the edge, only because I've got this here and that edge is that thick, if that makes sense. So all I'll do is hold that on that edge, put a pencil mark there, look, put it on there, put a pencil mark. Right, so I've done that, so that, where them cross, that's where I want to drill my screws. I'm going to drill some pilot holes through and then countersink it. Because it's getting painted, some people won't want to do all this. They'll just get the screwdriver and they'll just drill a hole wherever. And if that's what you want to do, that's good. I just like to do it like this because I enjoy all the process and I just like it neat and tidy. Countersunk all the frame, I've got it ready. So it's about getting it in the opening and all set up now. So what I like to do is stick a couple of packers under where the legs are going to go on the floor. If you sit the door on the floor and the door head is out of level, you've got no play. You've got nowhere where you can move the casing to level it all up. So I'm just going to stick a couple of packers on the floor. So I've got it sat in the frame, sat on the wedges. So I've got it in the frame. I've got the frame in the opening, it's sat on the wedges. So I've got the lining in the opening, it's sat on the packers, it's pretty central in the opening. And all I'm doing is putting in a couple of wedges either side, just to hold it. That's all it's doing. So now if I get my spirit level, I can sit it on my head and just see if it's pretty level. Let me have a look. So that's not looking too bad. This side wants to go up a little touch, or the other side wants to go down. But because I've got those packers in, I know I can take one side out and lower it down. So I'm good to go at this. I'll start with this side first. So what I've got is 12.5 mil of plasterboard on either side, and then 3 mil of skimming. So we're not to 0.5 millimetre, we'll call that 15 millimetres. So that wants to be 15 millimetres. So now I'm going to slide 2 wedges in behind these 2 screw holes here. These ones are just temporary, they're just holding it there. So I'll put I've put those in there like that. Then I want to make sure I've got my 15 millimetres, which I have. Check that for plumb. That's not far off at that. I'm just going to drill through there. So I've just put that screw in. Just check on plumb. That's not bad. Now we'll just check I've got my 15 mil at the bottom, which I have. So I'm going to stick another screw in up there. So because I've got the top fixed, I now need to get the bottom fixed and plumb. So I'm going to put in a couple of wedges. It looks like it wants just to come this way a touch. I'll just push the wedges in. So I'll just give the wedges a tap in. Oh, look. That. Right, so I've got the top and the bottom plumb. I now need to sort the middle out. Just wants to go in. Right, so that's the bottom, middle and top. So all that on there like that. That's as its plumb look. That's not bad down there at all. So now I'm going to do these middle ones. I'm just going to do these now. Oh, it's plumb that way too, look. Right then, that side's done. So I'm now going to put my level on the head. Oops, just to see what we want. If anything, it wants to go down just a touch. Let me change one of them 2 packers what I put in. For a thinner packer. So I had 2 of those grey packers, one on top of the other. I took the top one off and put 2 black ones on. Right, so I know it's level. So now I need to get it into position. So I want to set my 15mm projection on this side. Now I'm going to put a couple of wedges in at the bottom and plumb it up. Put a couple of wedges in at the bottom. Plumb it up now. I'll plumb it that way. That says I'm plumb. So let me just check. 15mm. So now I know that's plumb, I'm going to put my second screw in at the top and just snip up the 2 top screws. If you wanted to make sure your door wasn't twisting, you could put a pin in there on that corner, a pin in there, one at the bottom of that leg and one at the bottom of that leg, and then put a string line from the corner up to that one, across and back down there, and in the middle here where the strings cross, they should be just touching each other. If they're further apart, you know something's not right. So I've fixed the bottom and I've fixed the top, and if you look, there's a gap. I don't know if I can get to show it properly. There's a gap here between the timber frame and spirit level. So I'll put 2 wedges in here and push that out. So So I'll put in 2 wedges, and do you see how it's pushed this over so the gap's gone? So that's all nice now all the way up there. So I'll get them drilled. Right then, I've put the intermediate ones in. So all I have to do now is saw these off flush. So put that up under there like that. So that's not bad, is it? Go on that side. Oh, that's not bad at all. Look, and it's all nice and straight all the way down there. That's size not bad. All nice and straight all the way down there. Not bad, look. Not bad. Oh, I'm a little bit there. I think I better alter that. Well, I've had a look. I put my big level on. It says it's all right. Well, so that's how I hang a door lining. Might be too much buggering about for some people, but I enjoy it and it gives me a decent finish at the end. So I hope you enjoyed that, and I'll see you next time. Thank you very much for watching.